get good results from attending church. Others know that they are being scammed. Well, the experiences differ from person to person. Recently, some of you saw where somebody came online to deal, to deal exclusively on the controversy around the miracle money at Omega Fires Ministry by Apostle Suleiman. Well, that's not what we are discussing today. It's just to describe the person I have as guest today. His name is Israel Balogun. And I want to welcome him as co-minister today as we'll be discussing the role of religion in nation building. I want to welcome you specially, the
Thank you
special
so much.
apostle. may the anointing flow very well today.
Amen.
All right, I think we should just start by allowing you have the floor. Just tell us, your own experience with religion. Nothing is entirely bad as we know it. But what exactly motivated you to say you want to start, uh, exposing whenever you feel something is not too correct in religion? Aren't you just supposed to just leave things the way they are and allow God take a special place and do his work in the life of his people? What is your own impression about how things happen like this in especially Christianity?
Okay. Thank you so much, Shegun Hulo, the founder of Objective Media. I'm so grateful to be here and to talk on the issues as relating to national development, the role of religion. I want to say that we can fold our hand and let things happen the way they want to be, but nothing happen on its own. People determine the happenings.
Hmm.
Is it that you are determining the happenings or somebody else is determining the happenings? There is no time in life when people things just happen on their own. So I can choose to say, let me leave them, allow them to do the way they want it. Or you can also choose to say, well, it's not my problem. Let me face my family and allow things to be the way it is. But whatever ways, either you are speaking or you are not speaking, somebody is determining the happenings in our society. The political atmosphere where we live today is as a result of some people who took conscious decision to make a move to determine what is happening now. The religion we practice today is as a result of conscious decision of some people. So everything, nothing happened on an accidental. Nothing happened accidentally. Absolutely. Everything happened based on it. So, and then Africa, Nigeria, has lived under this belief of silence. And silence has brought us to where we are today. And then it is high time that we take responsibility upon ourselves. You and I, we are the responsibility is on us right now, because people who are in the helms of affair today, they were not as old as we are when they started standing for the nation. They were not as old as we are when they were leading war. As a matter of fact, many of them were just 33 years old when they were leading war.
Absolutely.
So we have responsibility, and then it is our duty to do that.
Okay, let us come to religion. Are you a Christian? Are you a Muslim? Are you an atheist? Are you an agnostic? Or are you a free thinker? Or some say philosopher?
This is dangerous questions, you know. And how to answer it is what I'm going to think, because yes, I am not a Muslim. I'm not an atheist. I'm not free thinker. Also, I'm not a Christian. Then who am I?
What are you?
I am a believer of God, a representative of his kingdom on earth. I function as human being that carries God and believe in God. Therefore, when I get to mosque, I will operate. When I get to herbalist, I will operate. When I get to church, I will operate. When I'm in the midst of atheists, I will operate. I belong to no religion, but I believe in God, I believe in death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and I am an addicted followers of his kingdom and the kingdom principles. But I
Hmm.
don't have any religion in particular.
But Lister, growing up, before you, at what point did you choose to describe yourself this way? Is this the way you grew up, or was there like an epoch or some kind of event that happened that made you decide, oh, I won't describe myself as a churchian or a Muslim, or I just want to describe myself this way as a godly person without religion? At what point? Was it since you were a child, or was there an event that changed all this?
Okay, fall in love. I was born a Muslim, and I
Hmm.
was not born just a Muslim. I was born to a family of a man who has two mosques. My
Hmm.
father has one mosque in Ibadan and one in Ajibo.
Hmm.
He's the head of the Mashalashi there, and I do go to mosque to pray five
Hmm.
times a day.
Hmm.
I remembered that my conversion to become a Christian happened in the mosque. It was
Hmm.
7 p.m. prayer that we are having that I fell down in that mosque and I started speaking in tongues.
Wow.
That was how I became a Christian. It was from that mosque they took me to White Garment Church because I was speaking a tongue that looked like their own. So they took me there, and that was how I became a Christian.
They took you where you
So
belong. What year was that?
that was around 1991.
Wow. You
So since
spoke in
then,
tongue in 1991 without being taught.
without not I did not even know there is any other religion apart from Islam
Wow.
because I was a Muslim boy, grown up from house to mosque to Ilekewu and all stuff. So when I joined the church, I was there for several years, and then later on, one thing to another story for another day.
Hmm.
Then, how did I become like this? I find God in another way.
Hmm.
I discovered that religion is never what God brought to us through Christ, but life that we ought to live irrespective of where we choose to worship.
Hmm.
It took me a lot of time for me to get to this point where I am
Hmm.
because I was once upon a time one of the most popular prophets in CNS too.
Hmm.
When you talk about known prophet, I was one of them. But it took me so many hours of research, study, understanding, and praying for me to realize that I would rather be destroying the people the more by claiming to be or trying to explain that Christianity is better than Islam or Islam is better than Christianity or whatever it is that anybody chose to do is not my problem. My problem is I don't belong to any religion. I belong to God. I belong to Christ. Wherever I find myself, I am human being. I will exist there.
Hmm. Interesting. So, if we put a date to when you spoke in tongue and joined the church, that was 1991. And then subsequently, if you follow the timeline, you joined the Celestial, you even became a prophet. How long did that last, or did that span before you now changed again and came into your free mode,
You know, since
direct
I joined the
access to
church
God?
in 1999, since I joined the church in 1999, I have been a church boy. I was
Hmm.
taken to church to be trained as a pastor. I was in pastoral training for several years. I did not go to school. I did not. The church I joined, nobody value education per se there. Seeing as much as you are talented and gifted, all you just need to do is to know how to read the Yoruba Bible.
Hmm.
And then I don't know if you understand this thing. When they want to give Tony Sova of a song, they will say la 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 la.
Yeah.
So as a pastoral in training, you must know how to give Tony Sova to almost
Hmm.
all the hymnals,
Hmm.
and then know how to read the Yoruba Bible. That is all that matters. So I was there within that year until I was 22 years old.
Hmm.
I never go to school. But a time come when I said I want to go back to school. So it was when I said I want to go back to school at 22 years old that was what made me to leave that church. But I left the church. I was still into religion thing. So I came to Ibadan. Then I started doing a lot of work. Conductor. I would go and ride Okada and then save the money to go to lesson and then start teaching myself, training myself, and stuff like that. So by the grace of God, I have master from University of Ibadan right now, and I'm planning to start my PhD soon. But all those things were there until 2017. I think 2017 was a major turnaround for me because God intentionally didn't want me to understand some things until 2017 after I got married. The week I got married, I came across a man called Dr. Sunday Adelaja, who explained Christianity to me in another way. His explanation of Christianity brought about a
Say that
change
name
of mind.
again.
I came
Pastor.
across Dr. Sunday Adelaja.
Doctor, okay.
He
DSA.
was the one that re-educated me. What he was saying was aligned with my understanding. But I never had this understanding. I never believed my understanding, actually. I was like, oh, no Christianity has been practiced this way before. If you say you are a Christian, you must belong to the religion Christianity. Can I exist as a son of God, a child of God, without being member of anybody? That was it. That was it. When I was in school, I remember when I was an undergraduate, I had a lot of problem with them on my campus fellowship, to the point of they removed me as an ESCO. When I joined the church, I was having prominent. Everybody looked at me that I'm going to become the pastor of fellowship, but I was having problem with a lot of doctrines that was being practiced. I would stand up in the morning and tell them this is not right. I would throw many things away. It was a lot of chaos in the church. So until they sent me that, look, this guy, we have to send you away from our church. In fact, someone other called me and they called the ESCO. I said, look at him very well. If he give you problem, send him away from this church. Don't let him come anymore. So when I was in school, I remember that people call me politics from the pulpit, because I'm adding believers that Christianity should affect society, not to be within the wall of church. People know that I preach with fire. And then when it comes to Aluta, I'm the first to go and lead the Aluta on campus and say, no way, it's not going to happen. So people know me as a pastor, and they still know me that this guy lead a lot of Alutas on campus. So they call me politics from the pulpit. But when I left school, God spoke to me some years back. He said, a time is coming, you will speak for the oppressed, those who have been subjugated within the church. I will use you to speak on their behalf. He said, now develop yourself and grow. So when the time came that God wanted me to step into that, he brought a man who explained to me what it means to follow Christ. And that understanding helped me to embrace God more. Now, I can make friends with a Muslim, I can make friends with a Christian, I can make friends with anybody without necessarily going to castigate them or irritate them with my own belief. I can live a life of human and a child of God on earth.
That's interesting. More so, I would like to ask, there are some people who will say they are Christians. They are doctrines. There are doctrines that believe that, okay, if you can come to church, God allows for miracles. Some believe, the purpose for coming to church or for being a Christian is salvation, purely salvation. Others believe if your membership or followership or discipleship of Jesus Christ is not making you rich, then you are not practicing Christianity. Prosperity is thematic in churches. But during all these experiences you had while you were a prophet in church, was miracle part of things you did from the pulpit, as politics from pulpit and all that? When you did, at least God speaks to you or spoke to you, that is miraculous, right? And then somehow you started speaking in tongues without anybody teaching you that. That's also miraculous, meaning that you believe in miracle. All right.
Yes, of course.
So if that is correct, I'm not saying we should discuss this extensively because I understand it still, but why did you, at least we can just rub it on the surface, why did you disbelieve the miracle deposit money into accounts? I mean,
Okay. Let me say that.
Isn't that sort of also miraculous?
Let me say that I believe in miracle. Miracle do happen, and I've said it several times. But miracle should not be a message of any Christians. Miracle should not be a message of any Christian.
Mm.
If we make miracle the center of our message,
Yeah.
we make God inferior to scientists of China.
Mm.
If miracle become the center of our message, we make God very, very inferior to scientists in Europe.
Mm.
As I'm talking to you today, polio has been eradicated in Nigeria. No longer would polio kill any child in Nigeria as I'm talking to you today. How did it happen? Miraculous? Or people discovered a vaccine and they sponsored that every child should be vaccinated, and that brought an end to polio killing. But miracle has healed people from polio as well. So out of 200 who are sick of polio, miracle has healed 1 or 2. Now compare to healing with eradication of the disease. Which one is more inferior than each other? The problem is we usually think God is exalted when we perform miracle. We did not know that miracle is a tool. For example, you are talking now. I am talking to you on this platform. You can use laptop to do this program, or you use your phone. Either laptop or phone, both of them are tools. But which one is more effective? These tools are in your hand. You can use phone to achieve your goal, or you can use laptop to achieve your goal. But which of the two is more effective? Now, I say compare miracle with science. Science is more effective in the hand of God. God is a giver of science. He's also a giver of miracle. And so, if God wants to put an end to a problem nationally, He gives science. When the people of little mind, miracle is meant for people of little mind.
For real? Because
As
you
a
must
matter
have
of fact,
gigantic faith to be able be able to
anyone
activate
who
the
seek
miracle.
miracle, they should be called babies. Miracle is meant for babies.
Because they need it to convince them.
Are you saying?
Because they need it to convince them to be
They needed to be convinced that God exists through miracle. But scientific discovery to solve human problem is the work of those who are matured in God. For example, people start praying for or against coronavirus when it broke out. Africa was praying. Babies, small mind, were praying because they could not understand the scientific analysis of the virus. How do we come across? How do we resolve it? People are coming out to be, let's assume the testimony were true. So people are coming out to say, miraculously God healed me from coronavirus. Is that also? But some people went into laboratory. They came out with vaccine to protect millions of the people on planet Earth against the virus. Which of the two has provided more solution to the problem? You will see that babies run after miracles. Christians should not allow miracle be the center of their message. That was not the plan. So, do I believe in miracle? Yes, I do. I'm a miracle myself. Do I encourage it? No. Why am I saying that money miracle is not true? Yes, it's never true. There will never be any money miracle anywhere. You know why? Money is earthly currency. It's not heavenly currency. To spend earthly currency, you must be there are rules and regulations that guide earthly currency before you can spend it. For you to transact with bank, you must be a human being at least. Have you ever seen an angel walk into the bank and deposit money? Have you ever allocated BVN to an angel? In those days when we have ghost workers who receive money from government and they are being paid in several accounts. So what we're saying now is that you have to be human being to transact within the banking system. So if angel is depositing money from heaven to people's account, the angel need to be arrested. The angel need to be probed, because angel does not have any identity. He doesn't pay tax. He's not doing any job here. He's coming from heaven. He's breaking the sovereignty of Nigeria and sending money to people in Nigeria without passing through the normal procedure that they need to pass through. Can God inspire people?
So do you want us to charge the angel to court now? Like, how do we arrest the angel?
Of course, if angel can pay people money, they should be able to charge them. Because if angel has means of sending money to people, we should find a means of charging the angel to court.
Well, let me go the Emanuela way of the Archangel fame. You know, we will say, "Can you see God?" If you say God does not exist, she will ask you, "Can you see God?" If you say no, if you say therefore God does not exist, she will also ask whether you can see your sense, and then I'm sure you understand that thing now. Now, if we say we want to probe that an angel that can deposit money should also be liable or can be charged, you know, are we not already opposing the agreement that miracles are possible and can happen?
Let me say that in as much as miracle can happen, there are miracles that God will not perform.
Okay.
Because that miracle itself, it breaks the law of God himself. One of the law of God for us is that if you don't work, you must not eat. He put the word, "He who does not work must," M-U-S-T, must not eat. And so if God will send money to me without working, he has broken his own law. One. Secondly, the Bible also says we should obey the law of the land. Part of the law of the land is that anyone who wants to transact money in Nigeria as it is, the person must have an identity. Identity in time that I should be able to say, "What is your name?" I should be able to give location, address, where you live. You should be able to give identity. So if you don't have an identity and you transact money, you are such, we can call you an hacker, anonymous. And so you are breaking the law. And so if God will allow his angel to break the law, then God has committed the greatest error. You know why? He said, "I have exhausted my word above myself." In other words, I am also subjected to anything that come out of my mouth.
The veracity of my words.
What makes him God is because he is also subject to his own word. And that's why he cannot break his word. And that's why it's impossible for any angel to come from heaven and pay anybody's money to anybody's account.
Well, you know that sometimes there are circumstances that warrant that something strange or divine should happen. You know, you cited the example of vaccine that, you know, scientifically God gave the knowledge or wisdom for people to discover vaccine in order to eradicate certain pandemic or diseases. But also there are extreme conditions or situations where if there is no science yes curing that particular pandemic, at least people will have to rely on miracle. For instance, poverty, apart from you work and you get paid salary that is not enough to even meet up with even your debts at the end of the month. If you see miracle money, isn't that God, you know, trying to manifest himself when you don't have any means yet? There's no vaccine that kills poverty yet. And if I am fortunate to come by a man of God that's, you know, deposits by fiat of an angel into my account, should I not consider that, I mean, miracle?
Okay, if you want to know the act of God, if you want to establish the act of God, you must watch how does God operates, particularly when it comes to things that affect majority before you will say that this is God or this is not God. When it is problem that affect majority, not personal problem. For example, maybe it's a personal issue you are passing through. It's not majority when God can operate with you the way you like. But when it comes to general problem, for example, Nigeria, let me give an instance of, I will give one instance and I will use it to explain the poverty at hand. There was a time in Nigeria that stillborn was order of the day. Almost all the families were having problem with the baby. I mean, they having this problem. Almost all the families. People are giving birth to children and children were dying second day. They call it a biku in Yoruba. And this stillborn was rampage. People were praying, going to Babalawo, going to Ifa Imole, all these different things, that God should help them, that their children will not die. The people are carrying sacrifices because we are walking in ignorance. Children were dying not because God hated them, not because demons, but because there is a virus. When you give birth to a child, that child does not have good immunization. And so when people come to greet the child, they carry the child. While they are greeting the child, they spit on that child, and the child will carry bacteria, and the bacteria will kill the children. So it was the bacteria that was killing those children until somebody came and gave us vaccine. He said, when you give birth to this child, give them this vaccine. Let them take it for the first time, come back 40 days after, come and take another one, come back after this time, come and the issue of stillborn became history. You see how God operates? Stillborn was a problem. It was like a curse on our nation. People were praying. Some people are giving testimony that my child did not die this time. Why many children are still dying? Do you tell me that God who prevent those one, two, three is partial? He could not prevent other children who was dying? No. God's solution to the problem is hidden in a vaccine. And until somebody discover it, children will continue to die. Today, poverty is in Nigeria. Do you know we are rated the most poorest nation in the world? That we have the highest number of poor people in the world. Do you know that? Poverty capital of the world. But some people are giving testimony of miraculous contracts, miraculous blessing. Do you think God is not wicked by picking one out of 20 million and giving that person miraculous money? Look at me. Until we discover solution to poverty, we will continue to wallow in poverty. No matter what you call it, that I pray, man of God, lay hand on me, in miraculous, that does not concern God. How God operates is when you want to give rain, He gives rain to the poor and to the rich, to the wicked and to the righteous. Rain does not, you will not say a man is wicked and rain will fall other people's area, he will abandon his own house. If God want to, let me tell you the greatest wealth on earth. The greatest wealth on earth is time. It's time. It's space. Space, time, sea, land. All these things that I mentioned, they were given to every human being equally. That is it. If we are not enjoying it equally, it is not God. It could be that your pastor pray for you and you think, okay, do I say God cannot bail you out at a time? Of course, God can. God can. But if He is going to bail you out, He won't bail you out in a way that will break the law. Objective, listen to me. If God is going to bail you out of a problem, He will not bail you out and break the law of the land. Maybe they want to chase me out of my house right now. And I've been praying that God, I don't have money to pay for my rent. Don't let my family be put to shame. No money. God help me. And the man of God pray for me as well. God can trigger you. You can make it to say, Mr. Israel, and I love what you have been doing. Oh, please, I would love to support you. And you send money to me. Not only that I want to pay my rent,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely I know the person who sent the money. You
Mm.
sent me the money. You
I get your
God
logic
may,
now. I get the
God can
logic now. But
trigger you to say take
but
it.
let's quickly begin to look at the advantage of this kind of miracle. I believe that miracle. I'm sorry you may not like it. I believe that that miracle money truly happened. But my concern instead now is how we can begin to channel this kind of skill or power to solving national problem. Like poverty is a widespread problem in Africa, Nigeria specifically, being the poverty capital of the world. And we have an Apostle Suleiman that God is using to deposit money. I would rather that we begin to look at channeling this kind of, opportunity or advantage that this man of God is a blessing to our generation. So, like for instance, help us solve national problem, poverty problem. Are you not looking at that angle? Like, how do we, instead of us to call on the man of God and say, "Sir, please, a lot of people are poor in this country. Nigeria is poor. There's widespread poverty. We are even owing debt, still taking loans. Don't you think we should rather be asking the man of God to please help us get money in CBN vault and use it to fund our budget instead of going to look for loan? Don't you think we should start looking in that direction?
I think my lawyer have said this several times from through his press release, and then we have also called on not only on the apostle but other men of God who believe that miracle money is real, and I believe so much that if they can help Nigeria out this time, I think to the glory of God, their own name will not be erased in the history of Nigeria. That at the time when Nigeria need money to survive, there are men who stood up and command heaven to rain dollars into our account. Of course, it's a good calling, it's a good challenge to every man of God. I'm not specific about anybody right now. Every man of God. In fact, everyone who, wherever you are right now, I am using this platform to beg us to please call on CBN, declare that CBN will receive enough money for us to deal with our poverty, and that will be appreciated.
Okay, lastly, do you know that some people believe you are doing this because it goes viral too quickly to come after men of God. You know, a lot of people believe you are doing it because a pastor is involved. But let me ask you, do you believe in ritual practices, like native ritual practices that you can, cut soap for somebody and get money? Do you believe in ritual money? And
Ah,
how come you are not talking about those ones instead of the man of
okay,
God?
okay, okay. You see, everybody have his own demon to fight. For example, when you wake up tomorrow, I can assume what Showore is doing right now. I can tell you what he's doing. Is either fighting one politician somewhere or is asking for liberation of people. Is Why is it that that is all he does? Why has he not been fighting the celebrities or talking about the actors, the this and that? When the saga of celebrities was on, he never involved himself in it. You know why? Men who understand their purpose stick to it. My purpose is not to destroy the church. My purpose is to bring the light of God to the church. I'm not an enemy of church. I am rather sent to bring revival back to the church. And that is what I'm doing. What concerns me, see, if that program, if an herbalist, a woodoos, or whatever it is, magicians come on national TV and say is declaring money into people's accounts, I don't have problem. It's not my problem. I don't have problem with such. You know why? It's not my concern. God asked me what He want me to do, and I'm sticking to it strictly. Nothing more. You will never see me talk about any other thing than church.
Hmm.
And people, because of that, they thought maybe I'm an enemy of church. It doesn't matter, whatever you think. But when it comes to the point where it is
Network. Well, that's frozen. Well, if you're just joining that, we have Pastor Israel Balogun. Is the man popular for calling out Pastor Apostle Suleiman over the viral miracle money that became controversial. Well, we've been discussing his belief, his own religion or practice, how does he access God and all that, and how we can begin to channel all of this to use for national use. And then we're also looking at how religion can at least be used, or I mean, to propel or promote national development. Well, we would have loved to take all in, but we are running out of resources yet. We'll definitely continue this conversation sometime again. I think we lost uh, the guest there, but I don't know. Let me just quickly, while I'm waiting for him to connect again, let me quickly check what everybody has got to say in comment section. I'm sure I'll plan for it that the next program like this will try to integrate call in to it. I'm not using the regular system I use. I'm using something different. You can see that the outlet is different now. It's a web application we're using today, but I'll try to integrate call into it next time. Well, Ellen of Troy says, "We are the church, and none can destroy the people." That is the church. He also say, "At least magicians are not using God to deceive people." Okay, that is in response to what I said, right? Um, also say that's the bone of contention. Stop using religion to bamboozle people. Emmanuel say Jesus fed 5,000 with 2 loaves of bread and 4 fishes. Do you believe that? And that question is for him. If you're able to connect him back, we'll definitely ask him to clear that part if he believes it, and why can't it be applicable now. Balogun is right to ask Suleiman for proof. As our faith says, test the spirits. Yes, that's good. That's according to Jesila for Jesus on YouTube. Obina on Facebook says miracle money is a scam. Chikakati says, and that angel that gave $1,000 or 100, but must be stingy. The church is God's body. No man can change it. Only God himself can change it. And when God starts his work, all the fake pastors will be consumed. That's for Intola Solomon Akinola. And also says no man can fight for God. Gentlemen and ladies, I think at this point we should just draw the curtain. After all, I'm also running out of battery. So I thank you all for your time. Definitely we'll have more time to continue to advance discussions like this for several reasons, both conscientization reason, academic reason, probing reason, decision making reasons too. Let's just be logical, and for logical reasons too. Well, I thank you very much once again. My name is Shegun, and I'm going to end the broadcast at this point. Thanks for joining. See you again.